Hello, my name's Trevor Wright. I'm based in William Creek, far north of South Australia, about 70 kilometres to the western side of Lake Eyre. And my relationship to the lake is that we have an aircraft charter business and a hospitality business based there, Maree and Coober Pedy. With William Creek, we also have the hotel and the accommodation side of it. And it would be, as far as we're concerned, our biggest catch or draw card in the area, no doubt about it. And exponentially, it's makes a huge difference to the synergies of all these small communities in South Australia in regards to the direction they take, the amount of people coming through them, and the cash flow that it actually generates. There's just a huge spike when water does go into that lake, and from a media point of view, which seems to be the thing, it triggers the movement of mainly retired and semi-retired people to the more remoter areas and the Lake Eyre Basin catchment area. Looking back, the big issues that we've seen as far as water and in the catchment and also going into the lake have occurred back in 2000, and about 5 years later there was a small increase in water, which also led to a spike in tourism as far as the interest went from the general public and the media. And then back in 2010, when we had major amounts of water going into the lake, it was grabbed by the media. And the flow-on effect from that for us was that we had a huge increase in the interest. Mainly 99.9% of it was from the Australian population, semi-retired, coming up through there during the winter months that started about April and went through in our busiest season through to November. The other interest too was the amount of increase in air traffic from above, both out of Queensland, South Australia, Western Australia, New South Wales and Victoria, especially with the Fokker 50s, the 50-seat aircraft, and also the Dash 8s from the QantasLink group, etc. To give you an idea how it has affected us, or myself personally, in a normal year out there based at William Creek and doing work around the area, we run probably around 3 to 4 aircraft that are directly associated with the lake and also with the catchment area. We employ 3 pilots. At the height of the floods coming into the lake, we went, and these are just rough figures, we went from 3 pilots to 22 pilots, 18 aircraft, and I think we flew over 22,000 people. And for people to go out there and actually fly, it's not a cheap experience at all. But the flow-on effects of that have been the government's come to the party. We now have a bitumenised airstrip out there because of the rural and remote use of it. We've had slight increases in capital improvements around the town, and we've also been able to increase the number of rooms out at William Creek in particular. From 8 rooms, we've now got over 40 rooms out there. We've been able to look at putting in potable water. We've put in underground power and gone from 5 generators to 1 generator, and looking at putting solar into the grid system that we've now built up. So there's been an exponential increase in capital equipment. But the biggest thing that I see, it brings it to the Australian general public's attention and triggers them to be right out through that area. And secondly, it has a huge increase in the job market, and especially at the bottom end of it in the hospitality industry as far as catering goes, cleaning, etc. And from our point of view as well, the introduction of young commercial pilots, both male and female, into their chosen career paths. For the lake not to have water in it as often by diverting it or damming it would have in between the major flows, I believe, a huge effect on it. Talking to the politicians in South Australia, they seem to be opposed to the situation of damming in Queensland. Whether that actually results in a dialogue between the states, I don't know. But one thing I do know, if we do not have this continuation of water going into the lake, it will have a huge effect pro rata on both the employment and the economic situation to these smaller communities, in which I include Port Augusta, Coober Pedy, Maree, Unadilla, and going up into Queensland for the other communities there as well.